And we're live.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. March 14th, 2025, House Education. Continuing what we are going to be doing a lot of today, tomorrow, if not tomorrow.
Forever.
Committee discussion on various aspects of H 454. We're currently talking about districts, and we've made our sort of numbers that we are going to use for strictly for modeling purposes, or for ways and means to use for modeling purposes. We've talked about district characteristics. Why don't we maybe continue that for a little bit longer, and then I think we probably need to shift to okay, how are we going to get there? Conversation. By there, I mean like a map with lines on it. You want to open up your document?
My list, do you want to go again?
Yeah.
Our parameters right now, goals, parameters, district lines that do not separate current districts to the extent possible. Equitable access to high quality education. Maximize opportunities for modern, regional, middle and high schools with the least amount of disruption. Equalizing taxing capacity to the extent practical. All districts are operating, perhaps with interstate exemptions. And a goal that districts have a minimum of 4,000 students to the extent practical. That one was the last one we put on. I'm guessing we're gonna get some feedback on that. Part of me wonders if that's a little, like you might actually, we may end up with some that are smaller and some that are quite a bit bigger than that. And so I wonder about, does that number put limits, particularly in some of our most rural places that could be really
Right, as
challenging.
we keep hearing, Essex County has 6,000 people.
Right,
Yeah,
so does that,
maybe like.
or maybe.
Well, we have it to the extent practical.
But like,
As we've had this conversation right from the very beginning, when we first started, we recognized that there were going to be regions and decisions that would need some exceptions to the rule. And I just think it's really important, as we're having this conversation in the manner that we're having it, especially, that we keep reminding not only ourselves, but those who are paying attention to the work we're doing, that these are not hard and fast for every single application. They are goals that we're trying to achieve in whatever way we can, which is what, as you know, practical comment.
And that was, for me, one of the challenges with H 454 is it doesn't
Right.
have those carve outs, which we know we're gonna have to make, including the interstate districts, but all that in there. So we're kind of having to reinvent that as we go.
Yeah,
Should have something in there about about actually the CTEs and having the districts in a way where.
Yes.
Each
All
district is
students have access to it.
still accessible.
Yeah. Absolutely. I hesitate to bring this up because I'm not sure even how I feel about it, but do we, with things like, to the extent practical, line up with designated agency boundaries?
I'm sorry about that.
Or are we getting too
Too prescriptive.
but
yeah, how would I say, recognize, to the extent possible, regional services
think
that serve children.
it doesn't have to be specifically saying, I want them to line up with it.
Right.
Without, we can still mention it, because that is an issue that we've had
It should be
for
at
a
least
long time.
thought about. in the
Yes.
process, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should be
Right, so recognize to the extent possible,
service.
availability of regional services for children, for students. You can say, including mental health services.
I-
You don't want
That's
to stay
gonna
away from that, then?
Well, I would assume we have that available and,
Or just a wide range of service, the
So we just say
Yeah,
services.
service, yeah.
The way ahead is probably better.
I mean, yeah, it'd be great. Well, I
Right.
think we might be getting a little too far in the weeds.
we're limiting.
Yeah.
So I know it's Friday at 2:30 and we voted out 2 bills and we've had a long day and people's brains are all fried. So I will just say that we can come back to this topic. If people feeling like they need to move on to something else.
I'm not raising my hand to move on to something else, but I did want to ask about the timeline and the process of this because I actually can see myself on my 2-hour drive home thinking of things that I forgot.
Yes.
And so I think we're going to try to keep, I'm hoping we're going to try to keep this as an open conversation for as long as time allows.
Yeah, we will,
Until we're
we will
set.
move from topic to topic.
Okay.
But I totally appreciate the 2-hour drive home and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this, and this. And so,
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and at a certain point, we will sort of put a closure on the bow on some topics.
Great.
So we can move on. All right, why don't we spend some time, before we sort of call it a day, to talk about, how these lines get drawn, who does it, resources needed to make it happen. We have options, that we've discussed, and I'm gonna throw out there because I'm a member of it. We have the Commission on the Future of Public Education. I'm not saying that the people who are on the Commission on the Future of Public Education are the right ones to be doing this. However, the commission is about to embark on a sort of public engagement process, which I think could coincide, could be, that public engagement process could be narrowed and focused based on this kind of work, which I think I would say therefore should be sort of under the umbrella of the commission. All of which comes to an end, December 31st. So it's all sunsetted with the task at hand. And so I think about the idea, we had set up one subcommittee of the commission to do education finance work. We could set up another subcommittee, have them set up another subcommittee with the level of expertise needed. I'm not even sure we would need to be the ones who say who needs to be on that subcommittee, but with the task of producing we could define this 3 options or whatever it might be that we decide we want, due to the General Assembly. 3 options, pros and cons of each of the 3 options. Then boom, it lands here to be acted upon ASAP.
When?
With that,
When?
How soon can they do it?
When is their
Answer to be
time?
acted on, and you're to be specific.
at the, when we walk in here, January 2nd, whatever it is.
And another when is the public engagement process starting for the?
We will, so the commission
now?
meets on Monday.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there has been some public engagement, but not sort of
Right.
professionally driven, where you're really reaching out to those people who don't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
engage with these things on a regular basis. We've got a really good partner we're working with on that. So we're gonna get a presentation on that starting soon.
So meaning that since it's starting soon, it could align fairly
It could align.
well.
Uh,
Interesting.
It does, I realize we're a little bit splitting hairs here semantics wise, but it is not necessarily creating a new separate task force, board, commission, whatever. It is working under something that we previously produced.
Can you remind me how many are on that commission? I know that all.
13, I think.
13, I can't remember.
It was smaller when we made.
Yeah, let's be really clear about
It was
that. There were
really,
no
really tight.
legislators on it, and it was tight and nimble.
And obviously it wouldn't be a subgroup it'd be a subgroup, so it wouldn't be the whole commission itself.
I would say that we would, we could say who it is,
All right.
but I would say that not necessarily any particular member of the commission, but that it would be under the auspices of the commission, since they're embarking on work that can work in concert with it well. So in other words, when we created in statute the subcommittees of the commission, one said it didn't necessarily have to have only members of the commission on it. And now there is a little bit
Okay,
of like.
can I?
Yeah, please.
So specifically, the Education Finance Subcommittee, which has been one of the more maybe in the weeds working subcommittees. is not just commission members. It has some non-commission members on it because we allowed for that structure. So as you talk about this, I'm inclined towards that if it's that sort of a route, not just because I think that we will need some expertise and perspectives that are not
Currently.
necessarily currently on the commission, and this is
Right.
gonna be super focused, super fast.
Yeah.
Resource intensive work, and I think we've heard, we're gonna get them again next week, again and again from a lot of us would like a group of retired superintendents to really know the lay of the land. Obviously, it's probably not gonna just be them, but we probably need some more voices from each corner of the state that really kind of knows, boy, if you just put this here and this here and this here. Some of them have tried to do some of those things. So I would favor that idea if it's a subcommittee that we keep really small. And that includes some non-members of the commission currently.
I'm not even sure, and I don't know if any members of the commission currently would even want to be on it.
Just
because-
Yeah.
No, no, seriously,
As
because
long as
it's,
you're not on it.
it's gonna be time
Just
consuming,
kidding.
and challenging, and we only get $50.
But it's so fun.
The other thing, can I add,
Yeah.
if we do go this route, I would say that we don't hamstring them with a
No,
limited number of meetings, or, I mean,
No.
I think we
No.
need to let them do what they need to do to get this to us for January.
I could not agree more. They need the resources to do it. I think this goals parameters thing that we come back to, we need to make even tighter.
Yeah, we do.
cannot send giant laundry lists. We cannot send that you must talk to 843 people. Lists.
We
I
give them suggested criteria, right? It doesn't even have to be mandatory.
don't know.
criteria.
I don't
Then
know.
we could let them.
Procedurally, I don't know how that
Well,
works.
I'm not gonna talk back
Like a lawyer.
on.
Thoughts on this
Like,
concept? I think that a subcommittee of the commission and the commission's public engagement process the two could go together very well. It would get the commission focused on an outcome. It's been challenging as we know, because this committee last year gave the commission a very clear goal or set of tasks to come forth with. Meanwhile, the AOE and the secretary came up with their vision as well, and the two, it's been a little bit of a conflict as we try to make it work. However, I think that this kind of brings the concepts back together, and kind of working the
To a
concept.
more specific delivery, I think that's the other challenge is that we gave the commission a huge,
Every time we make lists of things to
huge
do,
list of
we
things.
learn lessons.
Huge
Can
list.
we pull up, can we ask that possibly, how loose we can be with a committee? I mean,
Yeah,
are we delegating to a committee and then delegate something to
Maybe we need to, well, I guess, so, yes, the answer to your question, yes, we will ask Beth to join us and we can ask her questions. And she can give us answers. They will come back with recommendations, so if we're not delegating them to write past
them?
legislation.
So there's the safety.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, good job.
So we're looking to have them come back to us with maps or a map that they've sorted out using, I would assume using our inputs, but also like technology that can help, like inputs of the data that the AOE already has to help draw this, okay? And they would be, so I think of like consulting firms that do, this is all they do. So I'm not saying use them, but I'm saying if that's, you need to hire people, right? Are they,
yeah.
are
Yes,
these groups of people that were in the committee going to be looking to hire people, or are they going to try and do this work themselves?
Yeah.
Although, okay,
well, both.
okay, because I mean, they are capable.
I don't think there's any question that they need to be resourced to be able to hire in expertise.
Because that's where I was having a hard time, like, well, how are they equipped to be able to, because, you know, they're as equipped as we are, right? So. Okay, thank you.
I think the resources are critical. I think they have some, I think we also might need, maybe we can get some more clarity after Monday. I don't remember exactly what resources they even already have and maybe are not spent or used yet.
Those of us who were here might remember, there was leftover money from the original school construction task force that remained in the AOE budget. And we used much of that for the commission, for it to be able to hire outside expertise. And in fact, I think that you have to look at the budget. I'm not quite sure the answer to this, but they have signed a contract with a company to help with the public engagement. That may have used up the full amount. I'm not quite sure. Just in terms of the mechanics of providing resources and direction and all of that, because it's created in statute and all this. I would be happy to pursue that with the powers that be that know more about that than I do here. Finding the speaker, et cetera.
Yeah.
I think, so just from my own personal point of view, since I'm on the commission, we meet Monday, the steering committee meeting Monday. So I think a strong signal that this is a route we might be going down, I think would be really important. And I'm not feeling,
I think it's a good idea.
okay.
Yeah, I would say I'm really strongly supportive of that concept because I think there are a lot of folks who are representing different pieces of the field who are on the commission, and that's the same as, we find ourselves in a similar position this year where that's the expertise we really want to tap into and rely on. The public engagement piece that they're about to do, and in my mind is really important. So this gives us a great opportunity to sort of use what we've already put in motion and then also, align some deliverables. Great.
I see Casey looking into the middle distance, thinking carefully.
Yeah.
I'll go to that first.
While you're
Get her hand
thinking.
up.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know the makeup of the commission
Yeah.
or if there are other people they would bring in, but something that would be important to me is something you mentioned, that it has to be people from all corners of the state.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
We- To consider the needs of all parts of the state.
Superintendents can be.
I'm just kind of processing this myself. So the commission itself does have pretty good geographic representation. And this committee would be a committee of the commission, so there would be some back and forth between them from a feedback loop point of view. If we want to have a lean, mean map making machine,
Yes.
we may not be able to have every corner of the state represented, but
4 corners in the middle.
we're okay with this
So we need
concept.
you need to get some more information about the sort of hows.
Yeah.
We need to get some more information about the resources, the money parts.
And how that happens.
And how that happens as expeditiously as possible. And we're talking about it and like not limiting meetings, like this is a accelerated work plan. And then we need to drill down amongst us on the kind of goals and parameters. What are the things that they're supposed to be most focused on in creating map options?
You were, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought you had said.
You're
that-
wrong.
I appreciate that quite a bit. Am I correct that you were saying that the state does have the software capabilities to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was just saying, because that could be like, if we have to spend resources to hire to do that, that's where we may look to our state college or the colleges in our state who might have.
We have a whole GIS.
Yeah. I thought that's what you said, I just wanted to make sure I was.
Can I just, I'm not fully sold yet on allowing them to decide who's going to be actually making up the map.
Who would be on that subcommittee?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think we need the clarity about.
Yeah.
Do we have to rewrite something about their charge? Is it
That-
an internal
that was
process
gonna be
they can do?
mine.
How do we?
We changed their
How do we
charge.
get from here to
And
there?
what you're saying is you'd like to put some parameters on that?
I think so. I think I'd like to, right now, I'm saying yes, I'd rather have us have some say in how that's gonna be
Agreed.
proposed.
Do we want to do a little brainstorming on that right now, or do people want to think about that?
I would like to think, I'd like to go back and see who is actually on the board and what
Yeah.
their,
I would agree. I would also, I was just thinking in my head too of what if whatever commission we tasked with this, if we didn't love all three options they came back, could we put a default in that we would go with or something? But I agree with Chris that, I'm not completely sold on just putting it to a board like that. I don't know. I want to think on that.
And what you're saying though is you would like us to better define who
Yeah.
will be
As a
on
member.
this
Yeah.
subcommittee.
Right.
Yeah,
Rob?
I think that the people who probably know the most about all corners of the state are the superintendents. And I know that they all realize that their jobs are in jeopardy, but on the other hand, they could be very helpful, I think, to anybody making maps, to say, well, these, this area, I don't know, I just.
Well, no, I'm gonna support what you say in the sense of, if you think of the expertise just within the superintendents who we've had testify, like go to the Norwich, Hanover superintendent, who's been through this process, there's some valuable skill there. But do we want to be so prescriptive as to say it's got to be this person? I don't know.
No,
Or do
that-
we say, so we can, and again, I think everybody has said, look, think about it.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, please.
Something out there with
Yeah.
that. I'm not, definitely not opposed to having super.
No, I just think as consultants,
But
that
I'm
they're
wondering-
just consulted.
If having a current superintendent
Right.
on there gets messy
Yeah.
because they're
Oh.
basically.
Oh, yeah,
So it has to be,
Saving
it has
the
to be a
job, man.
retired or
Right.
somebody's got really no skin.
Agreed.
Right.
He's
Literally.
retiring at the end of the year. or
Right,
whatever.
because it would just be,
Yeah,
Not
it'd be
all
a weird
superintendents,
situation
right?
Also
having
busy.
somebody who might.
Advocate for where they,
Yeah.
no, I think you're
All right.
spot on.
That's,
So
That's a really good.
for homework for the weekend, among other things,
okay,
is, because I'm hearing support for the concept, which is, I can then telegraph to the commission on Monday. But it would be like, how big a subcommittee would you like? And how do we, describe what its composition should be? And how much of a role do we want the actual commission to play in the selection of those people?
I could throw a number out right now.
Yes, I was just gonna say, let's
You want
do
to
the
do more numbers
range
again?
game
I
again.
mean, five.
I was gonna say
Uh,
five.
I think.
Who else-
Ideally,
else do you
I
know
could
for
live
five in
with
there?
seven, but five, I like five better.
I like five, but could live with seven.
I need to.
Well,
think
we're
about
gonna have to
that.
live with seven because it ain't gonna stay at five after it leaves this room.
All right,
I want three.
I am not ready to say five.
14 to
Limited
17.
I'm not. I think we need to.
Said
come up-
14 to 17.
Five or 15 a day.
I think it's much more helpful to understand what we're trying to ask them to do before we decide on numbers. Because if there's a broad range of things that we're asking of them, we might need a broader range of voices at the table. I'm not suggesting a large
Yes,
committee.
this-
I'm just saying
this-
I'm not ready to say five
Yeah.
yet.
Right, no, but I think we need to, have a specific mission.
There you go.
So I would just say that, think about these things over the weekend, if anybody wants to talk or whatever, I have a pretty open weekend, so I'd be happy to, if you want to bounce ideas around, happy to chat with anybody,
I have someone. who-
except Josh.
Okay. Listen, it won't be the first time. There's someone who worked on a committee about school construction, like building a new school, moving, like, doing a merger and stuff, who actually comes from the building and planning of new schools and like, that was there, losing their towns, and this talked a little bit further, like, his brain about some resources.
I do think picking people's brains in our free time is an excellent,
Yes.
excellent thing to be doing.
All
All
right.
The intention
Yes,
is
and
that
we should back on Tuesday.
we need to refine and work with Beth on actual language for the district piece for the high level consolidation. And then to spend significant time next week drilling into class size, school size, what parameters we might set versus goals, how they're gonna interplay, and the related decisions that might force us to. Yeah.
Because there will be related.
So essentially scale, the thing I'm
Yeah.
calling scale.
And then we'll continue to sort of go through H 454 And there's a lot of sort of little things as well, that we keep trying to calendar and all that, it's something we need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just thinking of our buckets.
And then there are,
Oh, yeah, using language where we can.
Yeah. and then there's stuff that's sort of off to the side that we need to, no more, public dollars going out of state. So we have to refine that to say, well, we do know that there are
Well-
districts such as Guildhall,
Well, what's
Guildhall,
currently our
Guildhall.
non-operating district, and there, I'm sure there's other parts of the state as
Stanford and the
well.
Mass border, they've always used the high school. across-
Any border
Yeah.
town, that could be an issue.
Jenny, what are you about to ask?
I just had a question,
Yeah.
so like, as we think about district school class size, does anyone recall sitting here, other than the BSA brief, which was really helpful, have we had other testimony on that yet? I'm just thinking about things people could like review and sort of come back
Yeah,
refreshed on.
Great.
So, great question. We could pull in some testimony of districts that have set and used class size policies, as well.
And
But
Annie, would it be possible to send this committee
you were saying.
all the
use over
links?
the
Last
weekend.
year, we had class size
Just like look.
testimony from AOE and a couple others. Just all the documents, YouTube links and stuff from that.
Yeah, it would be helpful to have something like that for the work, the homework.
Yeah, the homework's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We, I will kind of close out today by saying, we are being asked, this group of 11 people is being asked to do some pretty heavy duty stuff here. And, especially for those of you who are here for the first time, I have not seen freshmen being asked to be part of something so consequential in my time here.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So appreciate everybody's work today very much. The continued very collegial conversations we're having here, really important, as long as we can kind of hang together. And on that note, at some point, we will have a committee dinner. We haven't done it yet. We're way behind. We'll figure it
By
out.
July.
We might get
We,
some
we,
crossover.
we may,
Yeah,
we
let's
may wait
give
till
it
May and have a
nice
nice
weather.
bonfire and cook out at Kate's house. Drink some
You know,
fine wine.
absolutely.
That
When we
was
get done
lovely.
work on
That
the
was
day of
lovely.
July 4th.
Okay, why don't we close
Okay.
there?